I was outed as a Trump supporter today. It came out over breakfast when someone shared a parody video mocking Trump, and everyone at the table laughed. And one person at the table said, "You know, so-and-so is a Trump supporter." So-and-so wasn't at the table, but was related to someone at the table. So I think it was the person who spoke up's way of cautioning the group not to go too far with the Trump bashing. So-and-so is quite Republican, someone else said, to apologize for that person's support of Trump. To which I said, if I were an American, I'd probably be a Republican too. At which point I suddenly found myself the center of attention and put in the awkward position of having to defend Trump. It was not pleasant, but it did help me to clarify to myself. Why do I support Trump? I don't, actually. I used to have a strong dislike for him. I hated him, actually, based on his behavior on The Apprentice. I felt he was pugnacious, arrogant, and needed to be brought down a peg or two. I regarded him as a clown and a buffoon, a caricature of the successful American. Based on my in-depth and extensive research of catching an episode or two of The Apprentice every week for a couple of months in season 1. Then 2016 came around and Trump was rumored to be running for president of the US. My initial reflex was to think it was a stunt, a joke, a marketing ploy to boost his ratings of The Apprentice. But then he declared officially that he was running. When he did so, I thought, oh this isn't a joke anymore. So I decided to put on my big boy pants and pay attention for real. I researched what Trump said about himself and what others said about him. Even an open inquiry on my part attracted vitriol from my friends online. How could you give this man the benefit of the doubt? Seemed to be the ethos of the day. Everyone knew this was a bad man, though hardly anyone could articulate exactly why. It was a version of primary school, where every week the cool crowd would say, "Everybody don't friend Melvin." Everyone would shun Melvin or be shunned with Melvin. That's just how it worked. Every week it would be another guy, and the offense was usually Melvin is XC or action, which I think was a corruption of acting too big for his boots, or putting on an act, as in putting on airs. I wonder if anyone has done the etymology. We all spontaneously outgrew this behavior by secondary school, however. But it came back in 2016. Everybody don't friend Trump. You would abide by this rule or be unfriended along with Trump. Because I feel deeply, and because my dad brought me up with a strong sense of justice and fairness, I was dismayed by the mob depersoning of Trump. It reminded me of the time the religious leaders met to condemn Jesus in absentia. They had more or less decided that he was to be executed. But one of them, Nicodemus, spoke up. Does our law condemn a man before it has heard him? This question resonated in my soul. Maybe it's upbringing. Maybe I was born with a heightened sense of right and wrong, which every person has, in degrees. Every average person can hear sounds, but some of us are born with perfect pitch, for example. I remember a friend of mine who could identify the exact note of a glass of milk tea struck with a teaspoon. So, asking questions about Trump as a reaction to the mob depersoning of him opened a Pandora's box of questions for me. I questioned everything I had accepted about the US that I learned from a lifetime of TV and movies growing up as a kid in the 1980s. It was in 2016 that I realized media, TV shows, movies, and news telling me about the US originated from the US. It was like consuming media from Liverpool FC fan club. Of course, you'd never find objective reporting about Chelsea FC. Why would anyone even expect to? You can't even get objective news about Liverpool FC from a Liverpool fan newsletter. So don't be a fan of anything except the ultimate transcendent. I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm a fan of Jesus. The reason I give Trump the benefit of the doubt is because I realized those who would condemn Trump without hearing him speak for himself would crucify Christ too if they lived during his time. With the hindsight of 2,000 years of history, you would think, who on earth would make that mistake? Well, you would. If you would judge anyone the crowd told you to hate without first hearing them speak for themselves. And this is why I support Trump. I don't really. I just want to make sure I don't murder an innocent.